all about house music. It's all about love. It's all about house music. It's all about love. It's all about house. 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 It's all about house music. It's all about house music. House music. House music. House music.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show, number 120. So, been a while, guys, been a while. I hope you guys missed me. And yes, it was my birthday last week, and before that, we had a lot going on. You know, the holidays are kind of tough for me and Maurice and everybody. You know, we've got family and things going on and work, and we weren't able to go last night because I was out of town, and then finally today I was able to get everybody together for a show. We are down one, so we'll have to pour out a little liquor for our homie here in a few minutes. I'm sure he'll be back next week, but who we do have today is our lovely and talented good old Maurice. How you doing, my friend?
Hello.
How you
What's going
doing?
on, guys?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, except my game keeps crashing in the middle of Grand Arena battles, so that's unfortunate.
Well, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
It's costing me my North Revan team headed down to Nest with 3 minutes to go, and it crashed, and now I have to fight the full team again. That's good news.
Maurice is doing the deep breathing. Yes, he's having some troubles with his game, so he's frustrated. You guys need to cut him some slack, all right? And then we have the ever talented and beautiful Avinash. How you doing, Avi? You there? Oh no,
she's on mute.
Oh, there I am. Sorry about that. My husband was making a lot of noise in the kitchen, so I thought I'd better mute myself. And happy holidays, everybody. Glad to be here.
Yes. So we had to get one in before the holiday, and we will be back again on Sunday, normal time. So definitely looking forward to that and getting Ranger back. But Ranger is out of town today, and he won't be available for the stream, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I wish Ranger was here too. And normally I don't like to go without anybody, so I mean, we would have held back, but we haven't done a show in 2 weeks, so I definitely wanted to make sure that we got one in, regardless of the situation. So I mean, I wanted to make sure we streamed because there is a lot to discuss. So let's dive in here. First and foremost, I saw Star Wars 3 times. So just so you guys are aware, I'm fully.
Wow,
I'm fully,
3 times, huh?
Three times. I don't F around when it comes to Star Wars. All right. So when it comes to the new saga films, I make sure that I'm there. Opening night, the day after, and a little bit after that. I'm also going to be putting out my own personal thoughts and a review on the film, like I always do with any of these saga films. So I'll be putting out a review of The Rise of Skywalker either later tonight or tomorrow at some point. So, definitely check that out when it drops. It'll be pretty cool. Honestly, just to give you my thoughts on it, my general thoughts. No spoilers. Don't worry. This is not going to be a spoiler discussion of the movie. Just to give you my general thoughts on it. Avi and Maurice, I don't think you guys have seen it yet either, right?
No, I have not seen it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you were a fan of The Force Awakens and you didn't like The Last Jedi, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. There are some things or some decisions that I probably would have made. I definitely would have made differently. But overall, I have to say that I enjoyed the movie. Like, I was wondering where they were going to go with this, because I was thinking to myself, like, how can they possibly wrap this up with the mess that was left after the last movie, or, really, like, what direction they could take it in. And, there were some leaps taken, for sure, some leaps. But overall, if you like Star Wars lore and you like the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and all the components that you know and love of Star Wars from the past, you will like this movie, I think. And there's a lot of that stuff in here, and that's kind of one of my main complaints of the original two, or the first two in the new sequel trilogy, which there wasn't a lot of new lore built into those saga films. And those saga films are really where we get a lot of the lore from, right? Because they're afraid to drop any big revelations in the cartoons or the comic books. They normally save all that stuff for the movies, and the first two movies really didn't advance the lore behind any of the Force or the Jedi or the Sith or anything like that really too much at all. So this movie kind of satisfies that need if you're interested in that kind of thing. So there's a lot of Star Wars, like Sith and Jedi things, a lot of things they've added, like new things that are coming. So it'll be cool. It's definitely action-packed from beginning to end, nonstop. So there's a lot of stuff to digest in there. Had to watch it at least twice in order to really get the whole thing. I tried to sit down the first night and do a review after the movie was out, and I really was finding a hard time to kind of keep pace with everything that happened, because it was hard to swallow all at once. So I had to watch it a second time, and that's pretty much it. There is a lot of lore that's built into the Clone Wars show and stuff like that too. But I mean, you're supposed to be getting most of the Star Wars lore from the movies. I think personally, I mean that's where they're able to take liberties, and kind of move the story in a different direction. So I feel like you want to hear the most of your lore from the saga films, because that's what they make these cartoons and comic books off of, is based off these saga films. So I'd love to get more of that in the saga films, to be honest with you. And they may do that. I mean, at some point we may get a KOTOR movie or something in that vein, like something from pre Star Wars, pre-Skywalker saga. So I think they're going to go back in time to the origins of the Sith and the Jedi and the Force, and maybe even talk a little bit about the Wills. I don't know, but I think at some point one of the next groups of films that they're going to make, I don't know if they're going to make another trilogy or maybe just make a one-off, but I think one of the next movies they make will be about the ancient stories about the Sith and the Jedi, and where that came from, that feud came from, and that could be a really cool place to explore if they decide to go that route. I think there's a lot of stuff to go into there, and it really is an open playground, right? Because they pretty much wiped out all the expanded materials, and now they can just kind of start from scratch, and they can use some of what they like. They can use Revan and Malik and things like that, and they can make different stories about those characters. I would like it if they incorporated some of the original lore into it and then just kind of put their own little twist on it. But we'll have to wait and see. It should be interesting to see where they go, though. Now that they're done with the Skywalker saga, they can probably move on and do some other things. So, exciting time for Star Wars. There's a lot of stuff. The Mandalorian's last episode is coming up this week of the season, so I'm excited to see that. And I love that show. Have you guys checked out The Mandalorian?
Oh my God, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Who would have thought that the little baby is the most popular thing in the entire world?
Baby Yoda is awesome. Have you seen it, Maurice?
No.
No?
No?
No.
Why?
I don't have Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. All right. Well, I mean...
I'm just pissed about this Grand Arena. It cost me my resistance feat, too.
Okay.
Oh.
It's all right, Maurice. If I was there next year right now, I'd give you a big pat on the back and a hug and I try to convince Abby to give you a digital kiss. Okay, but
yeah, I'd squeeze your cheeks, and I mean both sets.
Okay, but no, I mean I think that there is some cool stuff out of the Mandalorian. I mean, I love the Baby Yoda storyline and how that's going, and I think that they could really expand on that too. I mean, I know that they're trying to create their own thing that's going to stand on its own without any of the original saga stuff. But there's a lot of Clone Wars stuff that they could take from. They could add some other characters. I mean, they could run into like Ahsoka, or they could run into a lot of cool. There's a lot of characters that they could bring to live action on Mandalorian. I mean, especially during that time period, like right after the fall of the Empire. I mean, they could bring in Sabine. They could literally tell the ending story of Ezra Bridger and Sabine and Ahsoka right at the end, right in that show. Like the Mandalorian could run into them on their adventure to find Ezra, and we could find out what happens to Thrawn and Ezra, like on the Mandalorian. If they decided to go that route, I mean, Filoni is one of the main, contributors to that show. So, that's his story. I'm sure he's going to want to save that for something else. Like, I mean, a lot of people want to know what happened, to Ezra and Thrawn. I mean, they're not just going to leave that open in the air. They're going to close that story at some point. So we'll have to wait and see when that happens, whether it's in a live action format or they decide to create a movie or a TV show about it. But it would be cool to explore, like, Sabine and Ahsoka's adventures looking for Ezra, and then find out what the conclusion is of that story. But getting back to the game. So, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, what do you guys think about this whole Hux situation? So let's pull up Hux here. So for those of you that don't know, I'm sure all of you are up to speed on this, but Hux came out and apparently was broken and was able to defeat Gas, and then for that reason they nerfed him, and then Hux still is able to beat Gas with another team. Is that correct?
Well, Hux could be anything on any team because that relied on turn meter manipulation. Zeta gave him advantage at the start of the match, and so any team you used him against could not gain any turn meter, which is a lot of teams. That's basically all the teams. This is, so it's he was breaking stuff left and right. Like, because if you got to think, if Hux has advantage and you're facing a Gas team, it doesn't matter how fast your Rex is, he's going to pop his move and nobody's going to get turn meter. That Zeta on 5s that gives him turn meter when you attack another 5-0 first are totally irrelevant. Just completely neutralizes turn meter manipulation, like turn meter game, which is a huge part of the game. They refunded the Zeta. I can understand how people bought the character out of the marquee packs for that because they thought he worked a certain way. I can understand how they're upset, but if you just have a 3 or 4 star Hux and you're upset, you got your stuff back. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's a good thing they gave everybody their Zetas and their Omegas and stuff back for those 2 abilities.
I mean,
right?
Don't you think, though, they should have tested this first before they released the character to make sure that he doesn't destroy the meta?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is something that would have been figured out immediately. Because if you give beta testers a character like this, they're going to instantly go against, see how it does against the meta. Like, this isn't like a hidden little.
Right.
This is something that the game changers would have figured out before the character released, like a year ago. You know what I'm saying? Like literally a year ago. We would have had our hands on this, we would have tested it, and we would have been able to see that this is broken. And maybe that was what they intended initially, but I mean, I don't know. And it's really starting to make, because they're so quick to fix Hux, it makes me start to think that maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the new Rey isn't the meta. Maybe they're protecting Gas. And I don't know if that's the case or not, but they're definitely protecting something, by doing that.
Well, they're definitely going to be, God, who knows? I can guarantee that there's going to be something wrong when those are released because nobody tests them. What they do, I don't know what the heck they do in-house, but they're sure as heck not testing anything. And you've got millions of players that you can have a huge pool in which to test, and they don't utilize it. And what they do is they just throw stuff out there, and it's buggy, it's glitched, it's been written wrong. They didn't have something that was intended, or it was something that should have been intended. It wasn't intended. It's just a mess. And it's like time after time after time again, they're releasing this stuff without testing it. And they got to stop making all these new mechanics, because with these new mechanics, you have to start at the very beginning, basically with each and every character, and say, okay, how does this mechanic work with this character?
I am telling you guys that there is no way that they're going to release these 2 Galactic Legend characters that need like 30 characters apiece to unlock, like Kylo Ren and Rey, and that they're not going to be amazing. Okay, Merry Christmas to you, Dark Bob. And hi to everybody in the chat, by the way. I would be pissed too about gas. I mean, because at the end of the day, again, if they release a new Rey or a new Kylo that defeats gas and is actually more OP than gas, and that's a problem, because gas never really got a chance to get going. And these characters are coming soon. Okay, these characters, I would bet you Rey drops in January. And that will be one of our next topics. We'll talk about Rey and, how we can best prepare for that. And we'll dive into that here in a moment. But first, I wanted to move along to this pack. So they released a pack for relics, right? So let's take a look here. Let's see. Is this the $99 relic bundle? Okay. So this is it right here. This is the pack that they released. It's a $100 pack. So I have it up on screen. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull. So how did this work, Maurice? They had the other pack that was available for a week, and then they released the new version of it?
Yeah, but there was like a 3-hour overlap. And a lot of people did a comparison with the other 99 pack and with this 99 pack. And it's screwed up, people. It's screwed up. They're ripping you off. This isn't anything holiday whatsoever. So much Merry effing Christmas kind of thing in your face.
Yeah, this is everybody got the $100 iTunes Android gift card. let's have them spend it on this. The pack last week, I think, was way better value. You're basically exchanging 100 of those little. In essence, you're exchanging 100 of the jellyfish little prod Sylvic, like the relic salvage, for 3,000 crystals. I don't think that's a good trade-off.
No,
personally.
I'm gonna drop my screen here. I'm gonna pull up the pack so we can all take a look at the pack together, and then I'll show you the comparison between the two. So, this is what the original pack looked like with the 3,000 crystals. So, pretty good pack, actually. At the end of the day, I mean, again, nothing is worth. None of this stuff is worth $100. But if you were somebody who spends money on this game, and you're looking for a quick way to get resources, the fact that they did throw in 3,000 crystals along with all this other stuff gives it more value for sure, because because now you can use, at least you have 3,000 crystals to use for other things, and you get all these other resources. Now this is what the pack looks like now without the crystals. So basically they added some extra pieces, and they eliminated 3,000 crystals and try to sell the pack for $100 as well. I am not in love with that idea. I hate that they try to do that. I mean, I could even understand maybe reducing the crystal amount a little bit, like maybe making it 2,000 and then adding some more gear. But literally erasing the crystals entirely and then putting the same pack out there without crystals is nuts. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why they would be so cheap about the 3,000 crystals. I mean, 3,000 crystals is really not that much anyway, right? So it's not like you're getting you're not getting too far. You're not getting across the ocean with 3,000 crystals, right? So I mean, why take that back? I mean, don't you want to provide some value, so at least it's like, okay, you feel like you got a bargain on it, or you got like some sort of a deal. I mean, removing the crystals entirely is ridiculous, in my opinion. Ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand. They did that too. Remember the first remember those bundles, the packs that are actually really good value, like the $5 packs or the $12 packs that came out, where you get like a little, I forget, like a booster pack or whatever they called them.
Right. Yeah.
But for like $10, you were able to get like 1,000 crystals and like, all this stuff. And then they slowly over time just removed all the crystals from that pack. You know what
and then they doubled the pack. They doubled the cost.
They doubled the cost of the pack and removed the crystals. And
right.
I mean, I get that they have to make money, but I'm saying, like, there's no reason to take away the 1,000 crystals that you get. I mean, like, you're talking about a couple of extra refreshes. You're talking about, I mean, for somebody who's buying a character, you're talking about one extra pack for that character to get maybe 5 shards or something. I mean, really? You know what I'm saying? I mean, to unlock a character in this game, it already costs you $300-$400, right? So 3,000 crystals is not getting anybody from A to B, right? So at the end of the day, I feel like, if you're giving anybody any kind of crystal bonuses in these packs, and that's how you valued the pack initially, I mean, $100 is a lot of money. Okay, I mean, that's 16,000, 15,700 crystals you could get for $100, and instead you're getting this stuff, and I mean, obviously the value is not there. I mean, like, you could literally buy the crystal vault, and with the crystal vault, you can refresh your stores and get all this stuff with a quarter of those crystals. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, you could just refresh the cantina a few times a day, and for much less than $100, you'll get all this stuff. I mean, 2 million credits. I mean, who cares about that, right? That's not even a credit heist. 60 of those. I mean, really, it's not much at all. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, you could refresh the cantina for a couple of days, and you'll have all these resources, and you'll only spend 4,000 or 5,000 crystals max. And you'll still have 10,000 left to do with other stuff. And for $100, you can get this all instantaneously. Not a good value. And they're I don't know, man. I mean, like, remember when they used to give us the during this time of year, they would give us the holiday deals for the vault, like where you would get like 18,000 crystals instead of 15,000 for $100.
Yeah, all of the crystals were on sale. All of them were. Now, I mean, the last 3, what they did was they just give you the bonus on 2 of them, the first 2 or a couple of them, and that's it. That's all they give you. And it's like, how much money you could make with a bunch of people that will buy that top vault, and they would have made a lot more money. So their thinking of how to make money is totally backwards and screwed up.
No discount on the vault. I think it's nuts. I mean, I don't get, like, I get this. There's no VIP system in this game. You could have spent $100,000 in this game, and you have zero benefit in comparison to somebody who's spent nothing in this game. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you don't even give people a 20% increase in crystals like you used to do for the holidays. I mean, just because we know that you used to do it, couldn't you at least, do it for the? I mean, just for one time a year. I mean, I think that's I think it's crazy, to be honest with you.
There should be a lot of stuff, and freebie stuff. And I don't mean stuff that we have to buy. I mean, they should be giving out things like every day for like 10 days or something, or even a week before Christmas. And that is what keeps a lot of players playing the game. It's like, wow, this game is awesome because they'll give you free stuff. It might be once a year, but why not? But it always seems like in a lot of games that you play, it's the first couple of years are, freebie, good deals. And then they start really grabbing that money in every, trying to squeeze as much as they possibly can. They reduce how much you get, and they increase the cost, or they don't do it as often, or they just completely eliminate what they used to do.
You see,
and that's really sad.
You see, this is what I think actually happened. Okay, I think that when this game first came out, they didn't know how successful it would be. they thought it was an interesting idea, and they put a bunch of money into it. And when they released the game, I mean, characters like Jade Ocean Soldier, First Order TIE Pilot were the best characters in the game. Just like generic characters, okay? And they didn't know how to create a good kit for the game because they didn't play it. They just made kits, and they just saw how people interacted with it, and then they used that data to then update the game, right? And it wasn't really until Rex came out that we saw like a good kit in the game, And so they were very, I think, naive to how this works when the game first dropped. And then after the game started bringing in a lot of money, because people were buying it, they were giving away a lot of stuff for free. They were making it so like there was a balance, right? There was a balance between, if you wanted some of the shiny things, you could spend for it. It was expensive, okay, but it wasn't as expensive as it is now. Right. It was a couple $100, and you could spend and you could get it, or you could wait and you could eventually get it for free. But by that time, there would be some new shiny thing out that everybody can spend on. And that's kind of how they started off with the game. And then I think after the game was successful, they brought in some analysts and some people that really look at hard data and how you can try to extract more money from people. And they changed their style, their methods, okay? And they became a lot more calculated with how they released characters, and they realized they can control their cash flow by controlling the meta, right? So people want to win in Arena. So how do you control what people spend on? Is you control what dominates in Arena, okay? And you put it behind a paywall. So they realize that after a bit of time, they can release a character that will trump the previous character, and it's always been that way since then. So since then, they just keep adding on to these wild kits and making them so involved and so intricate that it just basically nullifies the character that was dominant before that. You know what I mean? So like after, gas is the meta, the next character will have some sort of rule in there that any character that kneels to the ground will instantly die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
right.
They'll just create some rule that specifically works against gas, and that will become the new meta. You know what I'm saying? And then if any old character creeps back into the meta because they didn't think about it, they'll just nerf the crap out of that character and say, oh, it's not working as intended.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's not working as intended. You can't have that character. So now we're going to nerf that character. We'll give you back all your resources, and you still need to buy the character that beats gas. Right? So, like, that's kind of their methodology behind it. What do you think, Maurice? Did we lose Maurice? I think Maurice fell asleep.
Maurice, you have your mic muted.
Maurice definitely fell asleep. Maurice, you there, buddy? Yeah, he may have stepped away for a second.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so I find it like a little bit... Maurice is still mad about Great Arena Championships.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah, he might not have a phone or a computer anymore. It might be up against the wall.
It's possible.
Yeah, poor Maurice.
I'm sure he'll make his way back eventually. But yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of disappointing.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can. Yes,
can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry, I got the super bad connection here. I apologize.
It's all good. So we were just talking about how they control the game at the moment and how they kind of, nerf characters when they can beat the meta, and then they make sure that they release characters that are meta so that they can kind of control where people are spending their money. I mean, what are your thoughts about how they used to release characters in the past, like in the beginning when the game first came out, versus now?
Well, I mean, it's I guess it's technically cheaper to get these characters marquees than was Chromium, right? So that's one thing. But like we should have learned this from when Darth Revan came out. And Malik, remember they instantly added that element to Malik's kit were simply put in Sith can't gain bonus turn meter because Palpatine was beating Darth Revan teams with Malik, right? Remember that for like a week and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Beat Darth Revan very easily with the traditional Palpatine team. You know, you might have to throw in Bastila, Dark Side Bastila, but for the most part, it was super easy. Palpatine was meta, you know, so they instantly changed that. I just think any sort of character that comes out, regardless of kit or anything like that, you should not purchase them whatsoever until like the waning. If you guys want to buy a character, do not buy that character until like the last 6 to 8 hours that the pack's available. You know, because I mean, if you did buy Hux, you saw what Hux could do, and you instantly bought him a 7-star. If you bought him solely for the reason of his advantage mechanic preventing turn meter, you're really pissed off, right? But like if you wait in the future, you see that you're like, this is good. Maybe you start saving your crystals and save your piggy bank or whatever, and then wait and just to see, because it seems like half
That's
of these
what I
characters
did.
now come
Yeah.
out. Half
That's
these characters
exactly
come out
what
and
I
they
did.
changed it. So just wait. You know, Sith Trooper seems like a pretty safe bet. You know, Banana Republic Finn, he's going to be
Banana Republic Finn.
He's good. He's good, but like it's, you know, something in his kit could break something. I haven't seen too many people go nuts on him yet. So, you know, if you guys are interested in that character, just wait a week, wait 2 weeks. I think the pack's there for a full month. So you got a full month to really make a decision. Just
Right.
You know, one character is not going to make or break your TW, your Grand Arena, or your TB or anything like that. Like, you know, you got to buy the character and you got to gear them. Just start saving the gear for the character, then make a decision maybe on whether or not to purchase them, because things are going to change. And I think this can only happen so many times and people get upset. You know, if you just you got to learn from mistakes that you've made or other people make when it comes to stuff like this. Because like Ramon said, these are expensive characters, $300. That's a lot of money for a video game for one character. So
Right.
Just make sure you know the final product before you buy it. Is all.
Yeah, which is really sad that it's had to come to that.
Yes. Oh,
You know?
absolutely. I'm not justifying CG doing that whatsoever. Just
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
No, it's kind of gross, you know. But I mean, yeah, I think it's Maurice is right. I mean, like, you got to be careful what you spend on, because again, you know, you could be kind of thinking that you're getting some hot new meta, and really you're just getting a hot mess, you know, because they're going to nerf that character, and you know, especially now that it's clear that there's a lack of testing on a lot of the stuff that's going out, because you know, they're not sure how the character's going to interact when they're releasing the character. I mean, it's crazy to think that, but that's really what's going on. I mean, they're just releasing the character and hoping to Christ that everything works out. You know what I'm saying? And
Right. And they're not even utilizing the people that they have set up to be able to test these things.
well, I'm sure
utilizing
they're doing some testing, but what I'm saying is that, like, you know, they're obviously not testing all the variables. You know what I'm saying? Because there are, you know, I guess that nobody thought in their wildest dreams that Hux would be able to beat, you know, Gas. And then
Right.
suddenly, you know, some people put up some videos, and then I mean, who is the one that makes that decision, right? Like, who is watching that? And it's like, guys, we got to fix this. This is crazy. They're not going to buy Gas anymore. You know, like, who's making that call? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Right,
what
yeah.
I'm wondering. Like, I don't
like
know.
I can understand like some of these more fighter mechanics, like raid mechanics, something breaks TB, something that you really have to dig deep to find. But I mean, you give 20 beta testers 1 hour with Hook, and they're like, "Hey, look what he can do."
Yeah.
Like, this
but,
is a little different.
yeah, but they won't utilize those players that they have set up to do that. They are not utilizing them.
It's
Like I think a team of 20 beta testers that spent 2 hours in the game would have figured this out. Like that.
Oh yeah, I
not
guarantee it.
It's not like some of these goofy raid teams where you gotta mod a character this way, take mod. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that somebody's really figured out. Some of these raid mechanics that, you know, people are soloing entire phases. This is a little different. Like, I can understand if that gets missed in a beta test, but the Sith thing with Malik we talked about a few minutes ago, like that's stuff that people would figure out instantly.
Yeah, people would figure that out right away, and it's kind of crazy that they're not figuring it out, because you know that they are doing some testing with it. I mean, it's just kind of crazy that they're not. You know what they're not doing is they're not modding the characters up. They're not, like, you know, relicking them out and then seeing how they interact with each other at like a max level. or they are doing that, and it's like at a they're not realizing that not everybody has all these characters at a max level, and because they're not all at a max level, they're not seeing that before everybody's at a max level, these characters have a different effect than what was intended. So I don't know, but it looks sloppy is the deal, and I mean, for a game that's this expensive, you can't afford to be sloppy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, that you guys charge a premium for these characters. And I mean, not even we're not even talking like $30-$40. We're talking hundreds of dollars. And I mean, like, just think about that for a second. I mean, like, General Hux, if you wanted to buy him right now, it would cost you, if you didn't get lucky, if you had bad luck, it would cost you about $300 to $400, right? You could literally buy a PlayStation 4 and a game and like an extra controller for that price. You know what I'm saying? And you could buy so many things. I mean, like, literally, I understand if a character cost $50, $40, and even that, I mean, that's the price of a standard Xbox game or Nintendo Switch game or PlayStation game. These characters cost an insane amount of money, and you're telling me that you're not testing these characters? I mean, I don't... Anybody that bought Hux, if they're not happy with it, should be able to get their money back right away. Hands down. No questions asked. And they need to start giving benefits to whales and people that have spent money in the game. And listen, I mean, I get it. There should be stuff for everybody. I mean, everybody should get some sort of benefits, whether you're a whale or not. But I think that, somebody who spent, $10,000, $20,000 in this game and, is helping keep the game alive and supporting the game financially, they should give him $10 off $100 worth of crystals, in my opinion. If you've spent a certain amount of money, they should give you a discount. All right. And, either that or, some sort of cool skin, something that makes you at least something, what I'm saying? At least give you, a cuddle or a handshake or a back rub or something, That's just my opinion. But anyway, I guess the next thing I want to talk about here really is the possibility of Rey. Okay, so obviously we're getting towards the Rise of Skywalker just dropped. We already know that we're getting different versions of Kylo Ren and Rey. We just don't know when and how. So what I want to do is I want to dive into this here. We'll look at the journey guide and we'll look at the new version of Rey. Okay. So what it looks like here is we're going to need, let's see, 15 characters, just like gas, right? So we're going to need like 15 characters for Rey, and we're going to need 15 characters for Kylo. So what do you think these 15 characters are, guys?
Honestly, I think they're probably thinking, oh, this is going to be fun to tease the people to wonder, what characters they're going to be using. Just release the characters and say, this is what you're going to need. Just do it. It's like, don't make us guess, because honestly, we're tired of it. I'm tired of trying to guess what we need, what I need to gear up, whatever the case may be. But for the Galactic Legend Rey, I don't know what. I would imagine Resistance. Oh, BB-8. R2? Do you think both fins? In chat, they're saying they can't hear you.
Well,
have I been muted this whole time?
I don't know. Are you?
Okay. So
Have you?
I hope not. Anyway, what I'm saying is I think that we're talking about we're talking about 10 characters here at least. So Rey Jedi Training, Stick Rey, Rose Tico, Amlin Haldo, Finn, then New Finn, then Poe, then BB-8, C-3PO, and R2-D2. So that's the 10 characters I'm thinking of. So if you guys have any, like, who else? What are the other 5? What do you think? What you were saying something, Maurice?
Well, I think that there's a high chance we get like veteran slug with Lando out of this.
Okay,
he could be needed. I'm trying to think. You know, I just don't see them double dipping. Like, you know, because like you said, Stick Rey, like BB-8, R2, all these characters have been needed for so much. Probably Jedi Training Rey for sure. Like it's going to be difficult.
Do you think that they might try to stick in like Kylo, like some of the First Order?
Well, maybe. I mean,
because I'm trying to think of in relation to what the character she's had to deal with, and what are in the movies, and a big portion of it, of course, is like Kylo Ren is one of them. So I don't know if maybe that might be part of it.
I think there's a lot of characters we don't have yet that are going to be included in this, because this is. You know, because this hero's journey, for the most part, with the exception of these 2 new characters, are all stuff that veteran players have. So the veteran players don't have any way to really take advantage of the journey guide. And I think it's going to be very difficult. I think there's a lot of new characters that we won't have that they're going to release with this movie. Just a marquee spree. You know, it's going to take a long, long time, or thousands of dollars to get these characters immediately. You know, it's just something for us for the elder players to chase as well. Like, while everyone else, the newer players, are chasing, you know, the 20-some odd other characters in there.
Yeah, the Jedi Consular and stuff like that they have to use, kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, like they're, you know, so because you know, Gas is back in a few days. He'll be added, I guess, to the rotation here in 6 months or so, because they said you have to be there a year. So this, I don't know. I'm a little scared at what's going to be required for these characters. I'd really like the Kylo, because I really like First Order. Hux is awesome. You know, the Sith Trooper's good.
Any of you that are not, any of you that have any delusions about Finn, the new Finn, the Banana Republic Finn, not being one of these characters, is definitely going to be wrong. I think that the Finn is going to be required, and like I said, but when I was muted, and I apologize for being muted there, guys, but what I was saying is that I think that they released him now. You know, he's able to be farmed, I think, in January at some point. Probably, they're not going to wait the whole cadence, right? They're probably going to drop him in as a farmable character, and then you'll have like 3 or 4 days to farm him from like out of some ship node before he's the main, you know, one of the main characters needed for the event. So you'll have no time to get him ready. You'll have to buy him. You'll have to buy him. So anybody who really wants Rey, I would strongly suggest. I mean, if you're going to spend money to get Rey, you should buy Finn. Would you say that's a fair assessment, Maurice?
Yeah, I think so, man.
I don't know what else. Maybe ships. Maybe they'll add ships. You know, they could have Poe's ship in there. They could do like a Resistance ship, right? Like, I mean, you know, what else do I think? A Resistance pilot, possibly. Are there any other Resistance ships besides the Rey's Millennium Falcon? I mean, so those 3 ships, that's it?
Yeah, there's not much.
Kylo's coming before Rey? That's possible. I wonder what you're going to need for Kylo, too. I think Kylo will be, you know, obviously, you know, you're talking... Let's take a look at Kylo. Hold on a second, just quick. I'll pull up Kylo. All right, so same thing. It's going to be 15 characters. So you're going to need Kylo Ren unmasked, Kylo Ren masked, First Order officer, First Order executioner, First Order stormtrooper, First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot. You'll need Hux. You'll need
Sith Lobster.
Will he be? He's not really. He doesn't have a First Order tag.
He doesn't have a First Order?
No.
Yeah.
You'll need First Order TIE Pilot, the original First Order TIE Pilot. Are there any other First Order characters that I'm not thinking of?
Phasma?
There's 10. I think there's 10 total.
Phasma, yes. And then, what's the last one? I think there's 9. Sith Trooper does have...
yeah, Sith Trooper's a First Order.
I looked at him, and I didn't see that. I mean, let me just take a look at it. I could be totally wrong here. Let me just double check. I remember looking at him the other day, and I was like, does he have the First Order tag? And I didn't see it. So maybe they changed it, or maybe I'm just nuts, but let me pull it up.
Yeah, he's got it.
Oh, he's got the First Order tag. Okay, so he is First Order. All right, so Sith Trooper then. So that's 10. But then we need another 5, right? So we have, we have Kylo Ren's TIE silencer. We have Kylo Ren's command shuttle. All right, we have... Maybe we possibly need the Emperor shuttle. We have First Order TIE Pilot. We have First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot. Right, so that's 4.
Yeah.
I can totally see the Emperor shuttle being included, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And the Emperor shuttle, right? So that could be the 10 right there. That could be the 15 right there. Maybe 5 ships and 10 characters. But they could also release more First Order characters here. And I also didn't include Hux. Or did I include Hux?
Yeah.
In the 10? Okay.
Oh, Hux will definitely be included, yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think about. What I think, though, is that these characters are coming sooner rather than later, right? So, I think you're talking...
Well, they said they weren't going to release them in December, but I guarantee you that, who knows? They'll probably release them January 1st.
I think it's 10 characters, DSP. Maybe, unless I'm mistaken, but I think it's 10 characters, and you need 15. Okay, and that's including Unmasked, Kylo Ren Unmasked. So, yeah, so maybe it's 11 characters and 4 ships. That could be possible too, unless I'm doing my math wrong. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that easy. Like, they're not going to just give you a free character. Like, they're going to want you to have, like, if it is that, it's going to be super hard. Okay, you're going to have these characters at like Relic 7 to get the character, right? And then if
for
it's
certain power.
If it's not that, okay, if it's not what we're saying here right now, they're going to put it right behind a paywall, okay? And you're going to get a new First Order character that drops like literally the week of the event, and it's either you buy this character and get Kylo, or you wait till next time when Kylo becomes free. And even when this character does become free to farm, you'll still possibly miss Kylo the second time around, because that's what they'll do. You know what I'm saying? So they'll put out some sort of pack so you can get him a little bit faster, but they're going to surprise you with this for sure. It's not just going to suddenly like they're just going to give you 15 characters that you already have in your inventory, and it's just a matter of getting them to 7 stars. It's going to be 15 characters, 7-star, Gear 13, Relic 5 minimum. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, I mean, may God have mercy on all of us.
Yep.
Because that's 2 separate characters that are going to need 50. So that's going to be 30 characters that you need in total. And they're probably going to spread these events apart probably within 30 days. Right? So you're talking about having to have 30 characters reliced and ready to go in probably a 60-day span at maximum. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's going to be characters that are behind a paywall that are required in there too. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be that Finn character. You're definitely going to need Banana Republic Finn, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need Sith Trooper. You're going to need Hux. You're going to need all these characters, okay? And you are going to have to spend an astronomical amount of money to get Rey and Kylo. And I bet you that those characters will dominate General Anakin Skywalker. At least one of them will. I bet you. I don't know about Kylo or Rey. I don't know which one it'll be. Looks like they are kind of leaning towards Kylo being a little bit more awesome this time than Rey in the movie. So maybe it'll be Kylo. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, Rey is the hero, right? I mean, Rey is like,
Mm-hmm.
Rey is the hero's journey character. So, I mean, I would imagine that, and she's the Jedi, too. She's going to have a Jedi tag, right? So they're going to have to create some additional tag, too, like where Rey is, like, not just a Jedi. Because then you'll be able to use her in, like a Jedi Knight Revan team or something like that. So what they'll do is they'll make Rey, like, Resistance Jedi, or like, New Trilogy Jedi, or... they'll create some sort of new tag for her that's not just Jedi,
So she doesn't synergize with the rest of them.
You'll have to buy a whole separate 4 characters to work with Rey.
God.
That's how it'll
This
work.
is all just scaring the crap out of me, It's...
That's how this works. I mean, come on.
I know.
This is exactly what they're doing with gas. I mean, that's why you got to get ARC Trooper and all this stuff just in time to get ARC Trooper and gas ready to go so that Rey can come in with Stick Rey and become the new meta. Okay, it's happening. Guys, get your Relic 7 Stick Reys ready now. Kylo Ren is way more awesome than Rey in that movie. I watched the same movie, and it was awesome. Okay, that was probably Kylo Ren's best movie. Let's not play games here. I'm not going into any spoilers, but Kylo Ren was awesome in that movie. Okay, this is by far the most confidence that I had in the character Kylo Ren of all the 3 movies was in the 3rd movie. He definitely looked the part. Like, he finally looked like he, was good with a lightsaber. He looked like he knew what he was doing, and he actually had a really good story arc in the 3rd movie. So I think that was Adam Driver's best job so far in the series was the 3rd movie, in my opinion. But, yeah, so guys, get ready to get F'd in the A, basically. All right, because that's what's going to happen. All right. It's long.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the CG stick is long, it's hard, and it's coming. Okay? And I didn't mean that last part physically. I just meant metaphorically. Okay. So, all right. So enough crying about what's coming. But I mean, again, guys, like I said, if you really want this, okay, start preparing now. If you're going to spend money on Rey or Kylo, you're going to have to buy these characters. I'm telling you. And you can wait until we get a little bit closer, but I'm telling you, they're just going to drop this on you last minute. They're still going to give you an opportunity to buy them when the event drops, right? They'll probably re-release the pack, or they'll create some pack where all 3 of them are in one pack, and you'll have a chance to get 5 shards for each of them, and that'll be even more disgusting than the pack that's out right now. So just, because, wait for that pack, when it's like you have a chance to get 5 shards of each character, and then what ends up happening is, like, you end up getting, like, an extra 100 shards for shard shop currency for Banana Republic Finn, and you end up having to... It's going to be ridiculous. So, just bear that in mind. But if you're planning on spending money for these characters and you have all the other pieces that we talked about here ready, definitely, factor in, the 10 characters from both the First Order and the Resistance that we discussed here, and any of these new characters that are coming out. And that's how you can get yourself most prepared for, the coming Rey and Kylo characters, I would say. But... if you're like me and you're just going to kind of hold pat, because I'm not spending that kind of money. I'm not doing it. So I'm just going to wait and see, and try to get prepared as best I can. And if I can't make it, I'll get them next time. Unfortunately, I mean, that's not the way I like to play this game. I used to be somebody, I think, that was kind of ahead of the curve and used to try to get things prepared, but they've kind of taken that ability out of my hands with the last few events that they've had and made it pretty much impossible for anybody to be prepared unless you're going to spend extra money. So,
Yeah, and a lot of extra money too. Because I'm kind of like, I used to be ahead of the curve, and then I was kind of even with the curve, and now I'm falling behind the curve.
Unless you're saving all of your crystals, and even then you're definitely hurting yourself elsewhere if you're just saving crystals this whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's despicable. It's despicable. All right, let's move on to the top 5 in the meta, and we'll start off here. So, actually, a little bit of a difference here. Again, we're seeing more General and Anakin Skywalker kind of coming up in the mix, and then we're seeing Padme up there too. So, I would have to say that Padme and General Anakin Skywalker are now taking up about half of what Darth Revan's pie is. So I would say the meta is about 70%, 65% Darth Revan, and I would say it's about 35%, or sorry, about 30%, about 60% Darth Revan, about 30% Padme and General Anakin Skywalker. Hey, Hans Omar von Harold Duerte. How is Costa Rica, buddy? So that is where that's at. And then you have the Darth Revan teams and Shaak Ti. So really all those teams are kind of mixing in the similar characters, right? You're kind of using clones, and with the exception of Jedi Knight Revan. You're with Padme, General Anakin Skywalker, you're really just kind of running a mix of a clone team with Galactic Republic. So that's kind of where that's at. I mean, are you noticing a difference, you guys, in the arena?
It's all gas.
It's all gas.
Sure, no.
Yeah, I've still got some General Grievous and definitely some Padmes and some gas. Mostly Darth Revans, though.
Mostly Darth Revans? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's move along to the top 10 characters at rank 1. And this is actually a little bit interesting this week. There are some additions here. So the clones have made their way into the top 10 squad members at rank 1. And we have number 10 is Echo. Number 9 is Fives. And number 8 is Rex. And then you have Sith Marauder, Grandmaster Yoda, Sith Empire Trooper, and the traditional Sith characters. So what do you think about the 3 clones making it into the top 10 squad?
Yeah, they've got a fairly good piece of the pie too.
Yeah.
It's that time.
Is it that time?
It's the clone time, yes, sir.
Are you getting prepared for
It's
the clone
here.
time?
I love my clones.
I am. Getting that Stormtrooper Han ready.
Stormtrooper Han is getting ready. He's warming him up. He's just kind of
right.
he's just kind of rubbing those shoulders, just telling Han, it's like, listen, buddy, it's your time to get in there soon. Just get ready. All right, just warming him up on the bench. All right. But, I thought that was kind of interesting that we did see a little bit of a shift here. The Jedi seem to have fallen out of the top 10 squad members, with Grandmaster Yoda being there really mainly as a 5th option for those teams that still don't have Malik. So you're seeing, Grandmaster Yoda in there for the tenacity up on Sith teams. But other than that, the Jedi seem to have kind of fallen out of favor here quite dramatically. So it's all clones, and I can see this rising. I can see these clones kind of working their way up the list up until, especially after this next gas event. I think we'll see, quite a lot more clones and quite a lot more General Anakin Skywalker. It'll be interesting to see, I'd say maybe first, second week of January, how many General Anakin Skywalkers we have in the arena at that point. It'll probably be more of a 50-50 split at that point, I would think. All right, now let's move along to our top 5 for the week. So, being that we're coming up on the end of the year, I thought it would be a great time to do the top 5 characters of 2019. Okay, so who do we have here at number 5? Good old Maurice.
I don't know. I can't really. I'm just on my phone, man. I think number 5 was Padme, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Padme. Yeah, you guys. I'll see her now every day. That you're gonna. If you fought the light side Geonosian territory battle, you know that, yeah, you have to have her. So she just turns all these Galactic Republic characters into monsters. Her just health-based mechanics are pretty cool. Just fueling tons and tons and tons of protection up. You know, Jedi Anakin is arguably one of the very best characters in the game because of Padme. So it's you know, she's only getting more and more required. So very, very good character, very good addition to the game. Drew a lot of utility out of that Galactic Republic. Make characters like Snips relevant. And pretty much any Galactic Republic character you can throw in there. Plo Koon, you know, all these characters have a little bit of use now under that Padme lead. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really sold on her at first, but now, obviously, I mean, I see that Padme is the real deal, and you know, she's a great alternative for you know, anybody that doesn't necessarily have gas yet and is still trying to run a nice Galactic Republic team. She's obviously required, like Maurice said, for the light side Geonosis territory battles. In that Clone Wars era TB, and you know, she's got a lot of cool synergies with Anakin and Ahsoka. So if you have a well-geared Anakin, or you know, Jedi Knight Anakin, and then you have a well-geared a Padawan Ahsoka, and you can couple them with maybe a couple of clones while you're getting ready for the gas event, or you know, even after you get gas, while you're getting him up to 7 stars, you know, then Padme. It would be a nice addition to the team, and she's definitely one of the better additions of 2019. Moving along to number 4, we have good old Maurice's favorite, Wat Tambor, giggling his way into the top 5. What do you think about him, Maurice?
Basically, we're seeing in this 3 versus 3, you can throw him in any team, and he just makes it instantly better. I mean, there are. You could run Zalbar Mission and Wat Tambor, no leadership ability. It's a very, very good defense. I mean, any character comp you throw in there, he's fantastic. You know, we've seen First Order in him being great. He's very, very good, especially if you have him a 7-star. You throw the relics on him, he gets huge, huge health pool. We're talking 100K plus, and that's what 30% of that, maybe more. I don't have it open, but he basically converts his health pool into protection for the other Separatist allies, and this is protection that can be refueled by B1 and through other methods. So I mean, he just turns the team into a knight. You see him a lot on these Newt Gunray Dooku leftover Separatist teams. That's a very popular team that we're seeing at TW, kind of like the Newt Gunray Dooku Django Watt, you know, tank. You know, so it just any team you throw him in there. You know, that's what I'm going to be using to counter Skywalker is my CLS Han Chewie Stormtrooper Han and Watt. So, I mean, you can throw him in any sort of team. It doesn't have to be Separatist. Offensively, defensively, he's a great character. Very simple to just kind of, on defense, you just kind of throw that Zeta on him. He'll go first, put the tank tech on your tank, and then just go from there. Just a fantastic character. I think a lot of people are going to have him 7-star real soon. We'll start seeing, because right now, you know, 5-6-star Watts are pretty easy to take out with Han and Chewie, but you start getting 7-star Gear 13 Relic Watts, you know, Han's first shot no longer will kill him. So he's going to open up a whole lot of new theory crafting. Just a great tool for theory crafters in general. Just a real fun character to have in your inventory.
Yeah, he definitely makes a lot of teams better, and that's what's interesting about him is he's not necessarily tied to one specific faction. Even though he is a Separatist, he can be used in a lot of alternative comps and be a viable option. And that's really what makes him the most interesting character. One of the more compelling characters of the year, really. He could possibly be even higher on this list, you know, as we dive into next year and we kind of see some more compositions that work with him. But you know, for the time being, he sits at number 4. So moving along to our number 3 character. Also want to do a shout out to Hans Omar von Harold Duerte. Again, he said, all good here, watching the best SWGOH show on YouTube. That's a very nice compliment, my friend. I don't know if we're the best, but you know, we strive to be. So I appreciate your sentiment there. That makes me feel good. But our number 3, who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 3 should be, I don't know. Help me out, man. Like again,
Darth Revan.
Darth Revan. Darth Revan, indeed. You know, all these 5 could be placed in a variety of different combinations, but Darth Revan here obviously is the meta. We just saw the meta report. Just a great character, a very fast character. It really utilizes a bunch of these Sith Empire characters that, you know, Sith Marauder for the most part, ever since his release has been utterly worthless, but you throw him underneath the Darth Revan Sith Empire team, and he's one of the very best characters in the entire game.
Yep.
Just the fear itself is fantastic. A whole new element he brought to the game. The AoE shock, the ferocity mechanic is pretty cool. Adding, you know, kind of, you know, giving you boosts in certain areas, penalizing you in terms of defense and tenacity and stuff. So it's a great kit. Unfortunately, it's kind of limited on the number of characters you can use with it. I've seen, actually, we talked about Wat Tambor. I've actually seen a lot of people run Wat Tambor in their Darth Revan teams now instead of Malik. So this is something to consider. Very good. It's just 1A, him and Skywalker are 1A, 1B in terms of best characters in the game, or teams in the game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, you know, he's just a character that's been much wanted for a long time. He's been, you know, very desired. Darth Revan is, you know, listen, I don't know if he should have been in the meta as long as he has been, but he definitely deserved to have his time to shine. I mean, we've been waiting for the Darth Revan character forever. I really did wish that they released both Light Side Revan and Darth Revan together and just made Revan, and he was, you know, both light and dark like we all wanted initially, and he had the 2 lightsabers. That would have been great, but they elected to go this route, and that's fine. And you know, they wanted to make sure that, you know, the character that everybody wanted for years, they were able to cash in on twice, right? So they gave us 2 versions of them, and they were both good, and they both have had their time in the sun. And now we're moving along into a new chapter here, and the Darth Revan meta is definitely, you know, I think on its way out here over the next couple of months, you know, into, you know, gas, and then possibly, you know, we'll see about these 2 new characters in, you know, Kylo Ren and Rey, and we'll see what happens with them. But Revan definitely, you know, one of the best additions, without a doubt, without question, in 2019. So moving along to our number 2 character of 2019, I think this will come as no surprise, is General Skywalker. So, why do you think he sits here at number 2, Maurice?
Well, I mean, we just, again, if the meta report, we look at it, if it's not Sith Empire, it is the clones, and it's going to be all General Skywalker. We got the event coming back for the second time now. People have saved their Get One currency. Those that got them the first time are just now getting them to 7-star, getting them a relic. So, I mean, there's going to be a huge wave of Skywalker coming very soon. Just his whole mechanic, where you have to remove his protection. You can't kill it, right? So you got to remove his protection. He protects all 4 of the clones. The clones can't go below 100% health, so you can't like just AOE the team down. That's not going to work. Just if he's standing, you know, you can't kill anything behind him without killing him first, or killing a character while he's down. Just the whole combination of him and Fives' new unique Zeta. It just makes it a real difficult team. Like, you can't really kill any of these characters except 5. And if you kill another character first, good luck, because Skywalker's going to pop back up, and all of a sudden you've got ARC Trooper, you've got Echo just assisting for 100K a clip. You know, it's insane.
Right.
The damage output of that team, it's going to be scary, guys. If you guys don't have a Skywalker counter, you start working that, because that's going to be very, very important. You're going to need a Darth Revan counter and a Skywalker counter coming very, very soon. We talked about Padme in that 5th slot. She can do both. So if you guys don't have Skywalker, I would definitely suggest getting your Padmes ready, because you're going to have to beat Skywalker. So AoE days, he's got armor shred, he's got double attacks. He's just a ridiculous character, just all together. So
It's just OP as F.
yeah, it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yep. But I do have to say that by far and away, the best character of 2019 is our number 1 character here. And really not because he's the best character in the game, but really his presence in the year makes him, the number one character of the year because he just basically changed the meta tremendously, and that's, of course, Darth Malak. And, I think that you can't really say enough about the fact that, when Darth Revan came out, there was clearly a piece missing, right? I mean, he was not performing as intended, and there was a reason that we all thought that there was something missing. And then, obviously, we got the release of Darth Malak shortly thereafter, and he kind of put all the pieces together and created what is the meta that we're currently in at the moment.
Oh yeah, just from a single character standpoint, he's the most dominant character in the game. I mean, we've seen it time and time, especially this 3 versus 3. Darth Malak can damn near solo any defensive team by himself. He's insane as a standalone character. Of course, he's going to work best with the Darth Revan team, but you can kind of split him off now that people are investing in their Skywalker team. Their Darth Revan teams are getting kind of plucked over mod wise. You start splitting up the Sith Empire. Malak works all over the place, especially 3 versus 3. He might be the best character in 3 versus 3, the Grand Arena that we're in now. You got a plan for him. There's a multitude of ways you can mod him. People throw the relics on him. Relic 7 Malak, no joke. Just basically can kill any character without protection. He's going to kill one shot. He's got shock. He's got, he taunts whenever you shock or fear. You hit him, he fears you. He taunts. Very, very frustrating character. So get your first order ready.
Well, I've got him at almost 162% tenacity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tough.
Yeah, and
Very
that's my screenshot there, and that's my Malak. So yeah, he's 162% tenacity.
These are all Avi's characters, by the way, and it's not because I'm hiding my mods, so don't say that. Okay, guys, it's because Avi was just available. All right.
Yep.
And I don't want to hear any riffraff about it. No riffraff. All right, but that's our number one character of 2019. We do have an honorable mention as usual, and who is our honorable mention today? It is General Hux. Oh man, who saw that one coming? Good old Maurice.
Yeah, that was my input. I hovered up in my first order. Well, see, guys, I just used it in my 3 versus 3, and my special forces TIE pilot is basic attacking for 48k. So I mean, he's a great character. Yes, he got nerfed, but if you guys have first order, he allows single-handedly first order to beat teams they've never been able to beat before. Just preventing any counterattacks, so that's going to really help you against like Shock T teams with the Zeta. It's going to help you against the COS team. Just really adds first order. Whether he's the lead, whether he's the support, it doesn't matter. An AoE assist with damage boost. The dominance is quite cool. His new mechanic, just more advantage mechanics. Just AoE cleanse, AoE dispel. Just does a whole lot. If you mod the team up properly, first order executioner is arguably the hardest hitting single target character in the entire game. With that Huxley, the bonus on the damage, and then also the bonus damage on the assist. I mean, your first order executioner can be basic attacking for 6 figures. It's pretty impressive what he brings to the table. I guess the best team is still yet to really be determined. That will probably come out very, very soon. Next couple weeks, we'll start seeing what he does. But if you guys have a 3-star, 4-star, whatever the case is, do bring him up. If you guys like the 3 versus 3, he's X 3 versus 3.
Yeah, I haven't tried him in 3v3 yet. I just was kind of unsure on what I wanted to do and whether 4 stars would be good enough for 3v3.
He adds so much damage. It's not him. He doesn't do any damage himself. He's got one basic attack, and his other 2 moves don't do damage at all. And just calling the assist. I mean, even if you use like crew, or like a crew lead for the pre-taunt, and just like your 3-4 star Hux and first order executioner, if you can make your Hux fast enough, I mean, you're probably gonna take out a character with execution on that opening assist. Those of you that have a really developed first order TIE pilot, the old school, the double tap hits hard. I mean, it's back to the original days of First Order TIE Pilot was one-shot characters. You can one-shot characters with Hux First Order TIE Pilots. It's pretty cool. So do keep in mind, I love the First Order, so it might be a slight bias here, but he's pretty impressive.
He's a good character. I mean, Homer or not, he's a good character. And is it really just him that you can take to Gear 12 now, or have they changed that in general for all the characters?
No, that's the only one. I'm sure it's a screw up, and they just figure, forget it. You know what? We're not going to bother changing it. Because we screwed up. But you can't take Sith Lobster to G12.
That's so weird that they would do that just for one random character like that. Like, you would think that there's a reason behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's weird. They're saying that that's working as intended. I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Oh, it's not. It's not working as intended. They screwed up.
And they're just
screwed up.
They're just not going to make anybody take their gear off. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It just be too. It's not worth it for them. They've got so many screw-ups over and over and over, back to back to back, that it's like this one. They're like, oh, forget it. We'll just leave it as it is. Oh yeah. By the way, it's working as intended.
I really thought that he would introduce a capital ship, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I don't know. I wonder what who will maybe they'll release General Pride. And they'll give him like one of those Sith Star Destroyers with the from the new movie, the one of the ones that Palpatine created. That's possible. Again, not to dive into too much spoilers, but they're if you've seen any of the trailers, there are some new Star Destroyers in the new movie that are pretty interesting. So you can see what kind of weapons they have, and they're pretty strong. So maybe Hux will get a capital ship. Who knows? They also had I believe in The Last Jedi, they had the Dreadnought, which was another capital ship. So they could release that also, and maybe make Hux the capital of that. I didn't say anything wrong, Gonzo. I didn't say anything. Okay? Talking about some capital ships, that's all. But there's a lot of interesting...
I haven't seen the new movie, and I'm banking on Hux getting a capital ship. I would bet some money at that. But
well, you need to see the movie. Okay, you guys need to all go see the movie.
Yeah, he's prominent enough in the movies that it's a recognizable character, and he had a ship, so he needs a ship.
I think they did. I think CG, for all their flaws, did an excellent job, really recreating General Hux' skin tone in the game. I think he's nice and pasty.
The artwork on Hux is impeccable. Yeah.
That last Q&A was all about the artwork. They've done a good job with that with Hux, and the new splash screen is pretty cool. Even though Han Solo looks like Val Kilmer, not Harrison Ford, that's okay. Can't get it all right. But
well, is that Luke Skywalker or is that Poe Dameron? That's the question. It's like if that's Poe, he shouldn't be holding a lightsaber.
Though the splash screen is kind of cool, actually.
We got Gear 12 3-star characters. We got take backsies on the characters themselves, but the splash screen sure looks nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Hux looks interesting. He looks like he's ready to go to the party for sure. So they did a good job with the new characters. We'll see how they play into the meta. I'm sure that there'll be some interesting other characters added from the movie. There's a lot of new characters in the movie. Obviously, we can imagine we're probably going to see another version of possibly Lando. Maybe we could see another version of Palpatine. We could possibly see, the Knights of Ren. We could still possibly get characters from the old movies, like the Praetorian Guards, or possibly Snoke himself. We'll have to wait and see. You know what I mean? So
we can get Rose's sister.
We could possibly get Rose's sister. Maybe we'll get Rose's medallion as a relic. her little necklace. It will be her relic. And what's Hux's relic? It's a pistol? Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course it is. Couldn't be something more creative. It's a pistol.
More creative, like his pasty face is the relic.
Yeah. Some SPF 40.
His relic should be that hat that he wore when he was shooting the laser from Starkiller Base. You know that when he had the red eyes. That hat should be the relic for Hux. And all right, but that is our top 5 characters of 2019. We really do appreciate any feedback that we get from this stuff. So if you guys like this list, if you don't like this list, please let us know in the comments below. And please do smash, slap, whatever you do, whatever you like, smash that like button. As this does support the channel, and it does also make us feel good inside to know that you guys like the content. We're going to go ahead and move along back into some gameplay. Now, while I do that, I know that Maurice is remote at the moment, so he can't scoop up questions from the chat, I'm assuming, at the moment. So
I've got a couple. I've picked up a couple here, yeah.
Okay. All right, so what is the so this is the time. We're going to do our Q&A segment now of the stream. We're going to answer any questions that you guys have. This is typically the time where if you guys have any topics you want to discuss, any questions you want to ask, type them into the chat now as we wrap up the stream here, and we'll discuss those topics or answer any of those questions before the end of the stream, and we'll try to get everybody's discussions in now. I know there were a few from earlier. I don't want to discuss anything that's related to the movie, so if anybody wants to discuss that, there'll be a separate video. Like I said, I'm going to be releasing a review of the movie, and you guys can comment on that in that chat. But for now, let's just discuss what's going on with the game. So what is the first question?
All right, 1 second here. Let me round them up. All right, I think this one's DSP asks, anyone seen the MILF with Negotiator? I guess he's asking, Negotiator fleets with MILF out of reserve. It destroyed my Malevolence team, which I was dominating. You guys seen the MILF with Negotiator?
I mean, I've seen it in Territory Wars, but not Territory Wars. I mean, Territory Wars. But that's it.
I've seen it. I didn't really understand why, but if it's beat Malevolence, that would make sense. I don't really have any Malevolence at all. Sure, it's all 7-star negotiators, if not 7-star, very very close. So I don't know. So if any of you guys are having problems with Malevolence, try throwing in MILF in reserves and give it a shot.
I actually use MILF sometimes as the last reserve. In the last spot sometimes. I usually don't have to bring it in though, but I did go against my first Malevolence. I couldn't tell you whether it was 5-star or 7-star, but I did pretty good because I kind of switched up my team a little bit. I put HT, Anakin, of course, and then I put Poe in the front slot there, and then I used let me think. Sergeant, 5s. I'm trying to think of what else. And then Rex. And then MILF. For that particular, to go up against Malevolence. And I put it on auto.
Huh. Yeah,
and I was able to take it out.
I'm just waiting because the only thing that's popped up from my negotiator is the 15, 20 shard. I need 10, so I'm just like patiently waiting for 10 to pop up. And then I guess, maybe I'll try MILF as my new reserve. Rex is the obvious choice, but maybe MILF would do better. I do like Poe as well. I always like Poe in the last slot, regardless of what I'm running.
Well, sometimes I'll put Lando's Millennium Falcon in there too, because that's really nice when you need a little extra burst at the end, and that'll come out at last if necessary. But sometimes I'll switch out with MILF. Or I'll switch Poe and Rex. I'll put Rex in the front line sometimes. It just all depends upon the GP that or the power that I'm going up against sometimes.
All right, next one is we've got saw another one. Azingy asks, likely just focus on either first order resistance, right? For the majority of the players. What do you guys think? They should focus on one or the other for these new heroes, journey characters.
I mean, you have to look at this realistically, okay? And if you're going to get any of these characters, you're going to have to spend money, okay? And that's what I think. I mean...
Yeah, they're not going to just give it to you.
If you're
not... You have to spend money to get them quickly. Like,
right.
You're going to have to wait. I mean, if you don't, which is fine.
That's fine, but what I'm saying is, like, if you're hoping to get them this first time out, I don't think if you're going to... I think if you're working on something already, finish working on that. I mean, if you're already working on gas, get your gas, get that done, and worry about, get those components finished, and then worry about this when we find out more information. Because as much as it's been easier to kind of tell what direction we're going in the past, I mean, we're really just, you're really, in the past, it's really just been determining what 3 other characters are they going to use besides the 2 pay-to-play characters that they've added to free-to-play recently, right? So normally it was always legendary event, 5 characters needed, and they're going to use 3 characters that are already in your inventory, and then add 2 new characters that you have to farm fast, and those 5 characters at 7 stars will be able to unlock the new character. That was the formula for the longest time. Now, with these 15 character requirements, I mean, it's really so across the map that there's no way to be 100% sure what you're going to need. And, even if you go ahead and try to take a stab at it, there's a good chance you could be wrong, because if they see that a whole bunch of people are moving in one direction and they think that the majority, they have all the data, right? They know how many players out there have a 7-star this character, 5-star this character. They're going to look for what is going to make them the most money. As far as like what characters you're going to have to farm, and it has to somehow work, like when it has to rhyme, right? I mean, they're not just going to put, Phoenix characters in an event for Kylo Ren, but I'm saying like they're going to look at what is needed that the most people don't have, and those things are going to be what you have to go after, and they're going to require a certain level of power. They're going to require a certain star level, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they add relic tier requirements for these events. So, I mean, I'd be pretty sure that they're going to make it so not only do you need to have relics to beat the event because it's going to be hard, but I think they're going to straight up require like a minimum of like relic tier 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 for some of these characters in order to get the character unlocked, especially if it's an older character like the original Kylo Ren or the original Rey, Jedi training, or I think they're going to make, you're going to have like a relic 7 Rey Jedi training to do this, and I don't know if anybody wants to make that investment right now on the hopes that will be, the main thing that's required. I mean, you're going to want to know what those specifics are because there's so many variables now. It's not just having a character at 7 stars. It's what relic tier do they need to be at? What do they need to be at gear 13? Do they, how hard is the event going to be? What other characters are needed besides this? Are you going to need to have Finn, the new Finn that just came out? Probably. And they're going to release other characters from the movie that you're probably going to need also. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bunch, a big character dump here in January of First Order and Resistance characters. So, be prepared for that. But yes, I mean, what you can do in the meantime is for those of you that are farming, Rose Tico, get her done, Amlin Haldo, get them done. Like the basic things that you can do in the background to get these characters at 7 stars so that all you have to do is gear them up and then get any new additional characters that they add to the chase or to the, to the requirements. Would be the best thing you could do now for that. But I mean, to go ahead and start, investing heavily in, resistance or first order, hoping that you're going to pick the right requirements, I don't know. But again, if you're somebody that is going to spend money and you're, no matter what, you want to get Kylo and you're going to get Rey, no matter what the cost is, if that's the case for you, which is for some people out there for sure, then yes, I mean, I would start getting that ready right now because to be honest with you, it's going to get dumped on you real fast. So I would spend if you're at that tier, then you probably already have a gas, and you probably already have the other components ready. So definitely make sure you're leveling up all your resistance characters, trying to get them as close to Gear 13 as possible. And then, I would hold off on the relics for now and just kind of save the resources. Farm the resources for the relics, but hold on to them until we find out what the specific requirements are. It's a lot easier to level up the relic tiers than it is to get the gear and the 7 stars that you need for the characters. So, if you're gunning for Rey and you're a whale and you spend money, absolutely buy Finn. Okay, if you're a whale and you're absolutely 100% going to get Kylo Ren, the new version of him, then go ahead and buy First Order Sith Trooper and buy Hux and get those characters ready, and then get everybody else to Gear 12, Gear 13, and just get them prepped so that when the time does come, you don't have to scramble like crazy and spend a whole ton of extra money that you didn't need to. You can start preparing that now in advance. But for those of us that are not going to spend an intense amount of money and are just going to kind of, farm it over the course of time, I would say your best bet is to finish what you're working on now, and then when we get a little bit closer to finding out what the requirements are, you can start making a long-term plan for when you'll get ready to get Rey and Kylo, because it's probably not going to happen the first time because they're going to be behind a paywall, 100%. So just be prepared for that.
Well, thank you for terrifying the entire community.
It's true. It's true. I mean, listen, that's the whole.
That's what's scary, is that it's true. That's just it. It's not just speculation. It's true. It's just how they think. I hate thinking that way, but it's true.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you're budgeting out money and resources for the game like this, you have to think realistically. And realistically, the characters there are going to be characters that you have to buy to get the new Rey and the new Kylo Ren, 100%. So if you're not going to spend 40, 50k crystals, or you don't have that amount of resources saved already, then I would wait. And even if you do have that amount of resources saved and you're somebody who's been hoarding your crystals, definitely don't just make a sudden decision. Wait till you find out all the variables before you go ahead and start spending, because first of all, we don't know how good Kylo Ren and Rey are going to be. We don't know what other characters are going to synergize with them, because in addition to getting these characters, it's not just going to be like suddenly you're going to use the new Rey with Poe, Finn, and BB-8. There's probably going to be new characters that you're going to need to run with them, and maybe you're going to need to make more investments. So, your 40k crystal investment or 60k crystal investment could suddenly become a 120k crystal investment if they add 2 new characters that are needed to make Rey work well in a team, or to make Kylo Ren work well in a team. So you need to start thinking about all the variables. I mean, not having, getting gas isn't the only thing. You also need to get ARC Trooper. You also need to get all these other components. So, are they going to give you characters free like ARC Trooper is? Probably not. So, just be prepared that, even if you spend money on Kylo Ren or Rey, there's probably going to be more money after that needs to be spent additionally to make them really work well. So, just getting the character this time may not be all that's it's cracked up to be. You may still have to wait to get your team fully fleshed out, if that makes any sense. So,
yeah, I don't know. You got me all nervous now, but in terms of you guys got to think that the new something is coming in terms of character progression. This light side Geonosis TV is far too difficult with Relic 7 characters. Like, you can have 5 Relic 7 characters and not even sniff a wave completion in P3 and P4. So there is further progression coming, whether it be higher relic levels, whether it be the abilities they kind of teased a while back. Something else is coming too. So do keep that in mind. If we could be getting those prior to they said in that post that they're not coming this month. The month is almost over, but if they're not coming out until January, February, they may very well squeeze in the next character progression, whether it be a level cap increase, abilities. There's all sorts of stuff they can do. Maybe higher tier or mods. That was teased. I don't know whether it be accidental or not in the Relic video, where they had like the 6B mods on Rey in their video. So there's all sorts of stuff that could be coming to increase our character's strength and abilities and stuff. So Relic 7 might not be enough. So You at this point to fully max out a character, you got to gear him to gear 13. Then you need 115 of the first 2 relic components, and then 75 of those blue crystals that are hard to farm. So like Ramon suggested, do farm that stuff up and maybe just sit on it, sit on the gear for these characters, all sorts of stuff. It's time to hoard. It really is time to hoard. Because who knows? Like you might have to unlock these Galactic Chase characters, the Kylo and the Rey. You might get them 5-star. You might have to finish them out in the Get store. That's not out of the realm of possibility too. So once you finish your Maliks, your Skywalkers, you go right back to hoarding that stuff because we might need it very, very soon. So
very true.
Just it depends on how bad you want it. If you guys are the type that don't rush to anything and just kind of take your time, then more power to you. It's not as important to you to hoard right now. Just work on what you're working on. And a lot of you guys probably are still working on your Geonosis Separatist droids and stuff for the dark side variety of the TB. So that's important too. You don't want to let your guild down. You got to get those watch sharp.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to look at in this game right now. I mean, it's not easy to just pivot and make decisions anymore, and it's not like they've given us breadcrumbs like they do in the past. I mean, 15 characters, and is an insane requirement. And, like I said, those character requirements are going to be even more stiff when they throw in the relic and the gear requirements for those characters. And they may even put a power level cap on it. So you're going to have to put Zetas on certain characters, too, to get them up to a certain power level. So it's like, there's a lot of resource-intensive stuff that could be coming in relation to these 2 characters and 2 events. So what I would do is, like Maurice said, just hoard your materials for now. Make sure that you're getting the gear for the characters that you need to get to Gear 12, Gear 13. So when that time comes, it's just a matter of equipping what you need to equip and then farming what's left. And, you can get a lot of those gear tier levels and a lot of the answers as to what you're going to need on SWGOH.gg. Which is what we use to get the meta report all the time. So you can go to SWGOH.gg and get the gear tier requirements for all the characters, and you can take a look at all their gear lists. So if you have, to gear Rose Tico or Amlin Haldo up, you can start looking up now what they need so that when the time comes, you have it ready to equip on them. But I wouldn't go ahead and start doing anything drastic until you know for sure. I mean, God forbid you gear up Rose Tico to Gear 13 and give her Relic 7, and then you find out that Rose Tico isn't even required for the event, right? So, that would suck. So don't go ahead and make any bold decisions yet. Just kind of prepare your resources so when the time comes, you can equip everything and be ready to go.
I'm just waiting for the time when Gamorrean Guard's going to be effective in one of these legendary events or one of these other events. I've got my G13 Relic 4 ready to go. So I'm just waiting for that opportunity to use my Gamorrean Guard. Yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions? Maurice? Maurice is muted. All right, let's see here.
Oh, I am. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't see too many more.
Okay.
Not questions. Just a lot of people discussing their fleets,
All
progression, and CG is Thelma and Louise hitting the gas pedal off the Geonosian cliff. Yes.
Yes, it is. Something like that.
Sorry about my poor connection and difficulties tonight, guys. I'm kind of winging it here on the phone, so I apologize about that.
Listen, Maurice, I'm glad that you were able to be on the stream tonight and you were available in the first place. At the end of the day, like I said, we just wanted to make sure that we got a stream out for you guys because we haven't been available during the holidays very much. That's going to change once we get past this holiday season here. Everything will go right back to normal. Like I said, I have a review of the Rise of Skywalker coming out sometime in the next 24 hours, so look for that. Definitely make sure to click on the bell icon and for notifications, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if there's no more questions, if you guys have anything else you want to talk about, type it into the chat. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up here. So I believe, are you guys still streaming tomorrow night on Operation Metaverse? Or
I think we're going to move it to Thursday just because tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So I think we'll probably move to Thursday. That's the tentative plan. The same for New Year's. I think New Year's Eve falls on a Tuesday as well. So
Yeah.
we're going to be streaming the next couple weeks on Thursday. So
Okay. And anything else new for Operation Metaverse this week?
not right now. I mean, I'm pretty much out of the loop. She might be planning some videos. She's been putting out a few on her own. That I don't know. I haven't really spoken to anybody except you guys and a couple guys in the guild the last few days. So
okay,
it'll be a surprise for everyone. So
Spartan EZ, what's going on, brother? If any of you guys haven't heard of Spartan, or if you haven't seen his videos, Spartan EZ is a great content creator. Make sure to check out his channel. You can click on his link. I mean, I should have a link to his channel in the chat. If you send that to me on Discord, brother, I'll put your link in these live streams so people can check out your stream, and I'll mention you at the end of the shows. But Spartan EZ creates great content, and you definitely should check out his videos. And I believe he streams on Twitch as well, so make sure to check that out. And I do think that possibly we could get a Baby Yoda in the game. I mean, listen. If they have a BB-8, a Spirit, Night Sister Spirit, if they have any of these other droids in the game, they could definitely have a little miniature Yoda character. I think that Yoda will grow in the next season. I think in the next season we'll get an older version of the Yoda, and I think that he could possibly become a young child Yoda that also uses the Force and will be awesome maybe at fighting too. So maybe we'll get maybe not Baby Yoda, but maybe teenager Yoda, or
I kind of like him the way he is. It's just kind of refreshing. And the two of them, the Mandalorian and the Baby Yoda, are quite the pair. I mean, it's just cracks me up.
No, it's great, but he can't be a baby forever, right? I mean, I wish my
well,
son.
Well, he's been a baby for 50 years.
Right, so he could be a baby for another 50 years, for all we know. But it would be cool if they added him to the game. I wish my son was still a baby sometimes. I mean, I miss little baby Max. But it's all right. Maurice, I'm sure, has heard about the Baby Yoda stuff.
Oh, I'm sure
I'm very realistic.
Yeah.
You won't hear me complaining. I'm in a Star Wars community, play a Star Wars based game. If I haven't seen something Star Wars related in the first month, that's kind of on me. You know what I mean? So that's
right.
Yeah.
You won't hear me have temper tantrums about that. I got to be realistic. So I will watch The Mandalorian. Hopefully, I can use that. Cheap ass could use the 7-day free trial when the season's over and just spam all the episodes.
No.
I was going to say, use the trial period for the Disney Plus and just.
Honestly, Maurice, after we're done with the stream, I'm going to give you my login credentials. You can log in and watch it, on your own. You can log in on my account. That's fine. Just don't give it to anybody.
There we go.
Yeah. So you can check that out. Not a problem. And. What about you, Abby? Any Boba's Alliance news?
Oh, I'm hoping to get a podcast recorded this weekend. We'll kind of wait and see between the holidays and everything else, and people quitting the game. It's everything's kind of up in the air at the moment.
Okay. Well, there is a link in the description to both Operation Metaverse channel with good old Maurice and TMoney. Make sure to click on that link and subscribe to their channel and get ready for their stream on Thursday. And like Abby said, they're getting together another podcast, and they already have a few uploaded on their channel. And there's a link to the Boba's Alliance channel in the chat as well. And definitely make sure to check out Spartan EZ, like I said, and also make sure to check out our missing colleague today, Ranger. I'm not sure. I wish he was here to tell everybody, but I'm not sure if they're going to stream live on Christmas Day. I would imagine probably not, but either way, there's a link in the description to the Reality Skewed Gamers channel where Finn and Ranger stream every Wednesday night. So definitely make sure to click on that link and subscribe to their channel and click the icon for notifications when they go live, because they have a great show with a lot of tons of great content. They make little skits about all these these developer Q&As that they put out, and they're pretty funny. So definitely make sure to check that out. And they'll probably be going live on Wednesday. If not, they'll probably make it up another day of the week. So, but we will be back on Sunday with the Alliance Live Show 121. I hope you guys do come for that. I hope everybody has a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas. If I don't speak to you before then, a Happy New Year. Like I said, look out for the review to The Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to bear all my thoughts about the movie in a true spoiler fashion in a video sometime either later tonight or tomorrow morning. Make sure to check that out, and I'll share all my thoughts on the movie there. But definitely make sure to give me your feedback on that and let me know what you guys think. But we will be back on Sunday with another live show. If I have time, I will at some point over the next couple of days also stream the second segment of my playthrough of Jedi Fallen Order. I only got through that first portion of it, and then I haven't been able to stream it in a couple weeks, so I want to finish up that game, and I'm going to stream it all the way through. So I will eventually get back on during this week and play another couple hours of that game as I kind of play through the entire story of that. So I'm looking forward to playing that game. I'm really into playing some Star Wars right now because of the movie, and I've been dying to play the game, so I'll be back into that soon.
That game's great, man. It's great. I just got kind of sidetracked with Borderlands for that game. I got about
I got kind of sidetracked a little bit, but yeah, I've been playing Fallen Order too.
It's an amazing game. It's a lot of fun. I gotta get back into, like, once I played it that first night on the stream, and then I haven't touched it since. So I'm sure I forgot all the mechanics and everything, but I definitely want to check that out. It's an awesome game. If any of you guys haven't played it yet, definitely check out Jedi Fallen Order. It's awesome. It's completely free of loot boxes or any types of shenanigans. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a great story game, and it's a great strategic battle type game. So if you like strategy battle, it's fun. Anyway, guys, hope everybody has a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and we will see you guys on the next one. We'll see you guys on Sunday. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you then. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming by.